Barcelona in the 14th and 15th centuries was a city at the height of its medieval glory. A thriving maritime power of nearly 40,000 souls, yet standing on the precipice of transformation that would define Catalonia's golden age. This was an era of magnificent construction. Gothic cathedrals pierced the sky, and master builders created architectural wonders that still stand today. Thanks to advanced AI software, we can now recreate these scenes with unprecedented accuracy. By analyzing actual medieval paintings, manuscripts, and architectural records, we're able to show how Barcelona likely appeared. The soaring Gothic architecture, narrow streets, bustling markets, and vibrant atmosphere of the time, allowing us to step back nearly 600 years and experience the city as Catalans once did. This is an extraordinary bird's-eye view of medieval Barcelona from the late 14th century. Looking across the Mediterranean coastline toward the city walls, you're seeing the beating heart of the crown of Aragon's maritime empire, one of the most powerful trading networks in the Mediterranean world. Dominating the skyline is the magnificent Cathedral of the Holy Cross and St. Eulalia, its construction begun in 1298 and continuing throughout this period. The Gothic spires reaching heavenward represented Barcelona's wealth and devotion. To the left, you can see the royal shipyards, the drassanes, where mighty galleys were built that would carry Catalan Aragonese power across the Mediterranean. The harbor is crowded with merchant vessels and warships. This was Barcelona's lifeline, connecting it to trading posts from Sicily to Constantinople. Notice the imposing city walls with their fortified gates, protecting the prosperous merchants and craftsmen within. This view captures Barcelona at the zenith of its medieval power, when it rivaled Venice and Genoa as a center of Mediterranean commerce. This is the iconic Plaça del Rei in the heart of the Gothic quarter during the mid-15th century. You're standing in what was the ceremonial heart of Catalan power. The magnificent Saló del Tinel, the great reception hall with its soaring arches, dominates one side of the square. Legend holds that King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella received Christopher Columbus here upon his return from the New World in 1493, just beyond our period but testament to the square's enduring significance. The Chapel of St. Agatha, with its distinctive tower, sits adjacent, a jewel of Catalan Gothic architecture built in the early 14th century. This was where the kings of Aragon heard Mass and conducted the business of their realm. The square bustled with courtiers, petitioners, and merchants seeking royal favor. Notice the elegant stonework and the intimate scale of the space. Medieval Barcelona was built for human interaction, its narrow streets and compact squares fostering the intense commercial and social life that made it prosper. This is the Cara Montcada in the late 14th century, one of Barcelona's most prestigious streets. The grand palaces lining this thoroughfare belonged to the city's merchant aristocracy, families who made fortunes trading cloth, spices, and precious goods across the Mediterranean. These Gothic mansions, with their elegant courtyards and sweeping stone staircases, proclaimed their owners' wealth and taste. The street connects the commercial heart of the city to the Church of Santa Maria del Mar, the People's Cathedral, whose construction was completed in 1383 after just 54 years, a miracle of medieval engineering. The fashionably dressed merchants and nobles walking these cobblestones represented Barcelona's confident mercantile elite. This was a city where commerce and culture flourished together, where successful traders became patrons of art and architecture. Within these walls, contracts were signed, marriages arranged, and the deals struck that would shape Mediterranean trade for generations. Next, we arrive at the bustling waterfront, looking toward the Mediterranean that made Barcelona's fortune. The royal shipyards, the drassanes rails, stretch along the shore, one of the largest and most advanced naval facilities in medieval Europe. Here, master craftsmen built the galleys that carried Catalan power to the Balearic Islands, Sardinia, Sicily, and beyond. These vessels were instruments of both war and commerce, their oars driving Barcelona's Mediterranean ambitions. The beach itself teemed with activity. Fishermen hauling nets, merchants inspecting cargo, sailors from a dozen nations mingling in the taverns and markets. The imposing fortress of Montjuic rises on the hill above, its watchful presence guarding the approaches to the city. By this period, Barcelona controlled trade routes stretching from the Black Sea to the Strait of Gibraltar, and this waterfront was where that wealth flowed into the city's coffers. This is the Llotja de Mar, Barcelona's merchant exchange, in the 15th century, the nerve center of Mediterranean commerce. Built between 1380 and 1392, this Gothic masterpiece was where merchants gathered to conduct the business that made Barcelona rich. The soaring arched ceiling of the trading hall, supported by elegant columns, created a space both practical and magnificent. Picture this: merchants shouting prices in Catalan, Italian, Arabic, and Greek, the rustle of letters of credit, the scratch of notaries recording contracts worth fortunes. The Llotja was more than a building. It was an institution that regulated trade, resolved disputes, and maintained the commercial law that made Barcelona a trusted trading partner across the Mediterranean. Here, deals were struck for Flemish cloth, Sicilian grain, North African leather, and Eastern spices. This single building embodied Barcelona's transformation from a regional power to a Mediterranean empire. This is the Plaça Sant Jaume in the mid-14th century, the political heart of Barcelona where municipal power resided. The Casa de la Ciutat, seat of the city council, stands on one side of the square, facing the Palau de la Generalitat across the open space. These institutions represented Barcelona's fierce tradition of self-governance. The city's merchant elite jealously guarded their privileges and liberties against even royal interference. The square bustled with citizens conducting civic business, craftsmen from the powerful guilds, and officials administering the complex regulations that governed medieval urban life. Notice the mix of people: wealthy merchants in fine robes, artisans in leather aprons, friars in habits, street vendors hawking their wares. This was democracy medieval style, raucous and immediate, where political debate could turn into street theater and where the voice of Barcelona's citizens carried real weight. This is the Cara dels Canvis, the street of the money changers, in late 14th century Barcelona. This narrow thoroughfare was the Wall Street of medieval Catalonia, where bankers and money changers conducted the financial operations that underpinned Barcelona's trading empire. Tables lined the street where coins from across the known world were weighed, tested, and exchanged: Venetian ducats, Florentine florins, Arabic dinars, all flowing through Barcelona's sophisticated financial network. The buildings housed the offices of merchant bankers who pioneered credit instruments, maritime insurance, and joint stock companies, innovations that would eventually transform European commerce. This single street represented Barcelona's genius for finance as well as trade, the combination that made it a medieval economic superhouse. History has left us precious manuscripts, altarpieces, and architectural treasures from cities across the medieval world, snapshots frozen in time, waiting to be brought back to life. So tell us in the comments, which city would you like to see revived next? Your choice could be featured in our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the past.